How badly do you think the elite media wants you to not hear about crime after crime being committed by illegal aliens on American soil? Judging by the backflips they'll do to refer to a suspect by any generic term that doesn't reveal the fact that he's in the country illegally, we'd say pretty badly. Judging by the number of stories that receive minimal, local coverage at best, we'd say pretty badly. You'd almost think that those in the business of disseminating information to the American people want the American people to be frightfully uninformed. And that's why we do what we do here at Blogs4Borders. Bring you the news ignores. The victim, Lillian Clark, 38, of Napa Valley, California. The accused, Francisco Pacheco, 24, an illegal alien. The charges, felony DUI, hit and run, and driving without a valid license. The story. On Saturday, February 3rd, Lillian Clark had just gotten her two sons, ages 4 and 6, secured in their car seats when a drunk Pacheco slammed into her vehicle, pinning her between his front and her rear bumper. He squealed into reverse and fled the scene, but alert neighbors followed him to his house just a block away and held him there until police arrived. Lillian, a legal immigrant from Chile, suffered more than 60 broken bones in her legs, which doctors were forced to amputate the following day. Her husband John, founder of the Napa Valley chapter of the Minutemen Civil Defense Corps, held his wife and managed to keep their boys from seeing her injuries while they waited for an ambulance to arrive. If you're able to help, here's information on how to donate to this family in need as they rally around Lillian. And what else do we know about Pacheco? Besides the fact that he got drunk, severely injured a wife and mother, ran away, and shouldn't have been here in the first place? Turns out he was already on probation for, you guessed it, DUI, a conviction from last January. He has another case pending from last July for, you guessed it again, another DUI charge. And the icing on the cake? He's been deported before, yet somehow, amazingly, miraculously, managed to sneak back across our fortress-like southern border. Of course, if our government had been doing its job, getting and keeping illegal aliens out of our country, Pacheco wouldn't have been here to repeatedly get drunk and get behind the wheel of a car, unlicensed and uninsured, ending in such pain and heartache for an American family, making this crime what? 100% preventable. The victims, two 8-year-old Virginia girls. The criminal, Santos Wenceslaw Guzman, 42, an illegal alien from El Salvador. The crime, aggravated sexual battery. The story. On September 1st of last year, two 8-year-old girls reported that Guzman had fondled them in a local thrift store. The authorities were notified immediately, and the head of the Child Sexual Offender Unit, who was off duty but happened to be in the area, was able to arrest Guzman as he was leaving the building. The dirtbag entered what is known as an Alford plea, which allows the defendant to admit that prosecutors have enough evidence to convict while continuing to proclaim innocence. A judge sentenced him to a total of 15 years, although with most of it suspended, he'll only have to serve 3.5. After all that, he'll be eligible for deportation. Guzman entered the country legally on a 6-month visa back in 2004, but didn't bother to leave when the visa expired. Of course, if our government had been doing its job, getting and keeping illegal aliens out of our country, this pervert wouldn't have been here to molest two innocent 8-year-old girls in a Goodwill store, making this crime what? 100% preventable. The victims, Wanda Gonzalez, 14-year-old Carlo Gonzalez, and 7-year-old Zabdiel Gonzalez. The criminal, Richard Toledo, 26, an illegal alien from Mexico. The crime, kidnapping, and 2 counts of murder. The story. Toledo, who had once worked with Wanda Gonzalez, had been taken in as a boarder by the Gonzalez family in their Stafford Township, New Jersey home. He had been watching the boys on January 19, 2006, when Wanda Gonzalez returned home from grocery shopping. Toledo assured her that the boys were fine, then abducted her at knife point, and forced her to withdraw $500 from an ATM. Wanda was able to escape at a rest area when they stopped for gas and called the police. Meanwhile, her husband Carlos had returned to their home to make a grisly discovery. He found 14-year-old Carlo and 7-year-old Zabdiel in the basement. This monster had beaten and strangled the boys before killing them by smashing their skulls with a hammer. Toledo, who disappeared into the woods after Wanda broke free, was captured by authorities after a night-long manhunt. After initially pleading not guilty, last Friday he entered a guilty plea to all 3 charges. He faces 30 years in prison for the kidnapping of Wanda, a maximum of 30 years to life for the murder of Carlo, and life without parole for the murder of Zabdiel. Of course, if our government had been doing its job, getting and keeping illegal aliens out of our country, Toledo wouldn't have been here to abduct Wanda Gonzalez at knife point, or to brutally assault and murder her 2 young sons with a hammer. And that makes this crime what? 100% preventable. Here's the short version of even more 100% preventable crimes within the last 10 days. Ohio. Teodoro Martinez, also known as Cesar Flores, 37, charged with 2 counts of rape for sexual contact with 2 sisters, aged 13 and 14. Oregon. No Garcia Moncada, 30, sentenced for 2 counts of failure to perform the duties of a driver to an injured person in the hit-and-run deaths of Dallas and Marilyn Vance. Massachusetts. Charges against Eric Oriana include leaving the scene of an accident, which he fled because he feared deportation. California. Marcelino Almanza, 41, arrested in the stabbing death of his 17-year-old roommate. He returned illegally after deportation stemming from a prior aggravated assault conviction. Colorado. Maximino Sanchez Castro, charged with the sexual assault of a 12-year-old girl he met online. Florida. Armando Lopez Canada received a maximum sentence in the hit-and-run deaths of Ronnie Bishop and his 4-year-old nephew, Josh Morrow. 6 crimes, 6 illegal aliens. And that makes all of these crimes what? 100% preventable. Thanks for clicking in to this week's episode of the Blogs4Borders video blog burst. And until next week, be vigilant, be vocal, and be unrelenting. We've got a country to save.